Trust the hire, fix the environment. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Leadership That Heals Systems. This is our bi-weekly webinar. You guys are all more than free to join. Please share the link with others every Tuesday, 11 a.m. So today's conversation is really direct. If you don't trust your team, you may not trust yourself. That's the truth that most leaders probably avoid. And we're not saying this to shame anyone, but we are saying this to increase awareness. Okay, because leadership that heals systems begins with self-accountability. All right, so you hired them, you evaluated them, you assessed their skill, capacity, and adaptability. So when trust starts going away, when trust erodes, something shifted. And in most cases, it's not incompetence, it's pressure. Okay, it's dysregulated nervous systems. When leaders operate from a dysregulated nervous system, or the team is dysregulated, whether they realize it or not, when the leader operates from that, it can come off as disorganized urgency or fear. And urgency in leadership doesn't translate well. It looks like overreacting, overcorrecting, withdrawing from communication, shifting expectations midstream, tightening control, placing most responsibilities on one or two top performers, or of course micromanaging, right? Sometimes that fear comes from the fear of failure, reputational damage, losing control, pressure from higher up leadership, organizational instability. All of that happens, yeah. But when leaders operate from this space, they create unpredictability and they trigger the nervous system. And unpredictability is registered by the brain as a threat. Okay, so let's talk about the neuroscience behind performance. All right, we're going to slow this down. When the workplace environment feels unstable, unclear expectations, inconsistent feedback, emotional reactivity, the amygdala fires off, okay? The amygdala scans for, am I safe? Okay, and once it's activated, the team's executive functioning decreases. Planning and prioritization weakens. Initiative drops. Collaboration declines. Risk-taking and creative thinking shuts down. So what leaders often interpret as disengagement may actually be a nervous system response to instability. Okay, this is not about lowering your standards. That is never what I'm saying. But it is about understanding how performance actually works. Trust the hire. If someone passed your hiring process, they likely, okay, now this is up to you and what you do, but they likely have competence, skill, capacity, adaptability, and the competence can't thrive in chaos, okay? Clarity is what creates safety. Safety creates cognitive capacity, and capacity creates performance. You don't fix performance first, you fix the environment first, and leadership, the way you're communicating and showing up. All right, so I want you to sit with this. When pressure increases, what shifts in you as a leader? Does your tone change? Do your expectations move the goalpost? Do you become less communicative and more reactive? Do you lean heavily on your top performers and unintentionally create imbalance? Okay, because leadership under pressure reveals regulation. All right, you need to do an environmental audit. So before correcting performance, ask, are the expectations clearly defined and written? Is success measurable? Is feedback consistent? Are priorities stable? Is workload sustainable? Is leadership emotionally predictable? Would you perform well under your own leadership? Let that breathe. Okay? This doesn't just apply to the leaders, but it applies to your top performers. It applies to the team itself, okay? If behavior shifts, engagement drops, and the initiative just goes down here, okay? This is environmental stress, and the system that you create sets the temperature. And the temperature of the workplace environment creates emotional safety, executive functioning, productivity, flexibility, and overall capacity, okay? So this week, I want you to try to regulate yourself first, okay? Clarify expectations clearly and concretely. Mind the tone as well. Reduce unpredictability. Open feedback loops. Then assess performance. Okay? Environment comes first. Performance comes second. Create the environment where your team can bloom.